Hey everybody, thought today I'd show you my collection, some of it anyway, since I'm in lockdown and I can't go get any more. So I'll start with the ones that I got in South Africa last November. I think I will probably grind that down a bit more so I can expose what's visible in the middle there. Oh, there you go. It's quite a cool cornelian nodule. Then at the same spot I got this, which is a pseudomorph of some sort of mineral, I'm not quite sure what. Very unusual. Spoken to some other guys from the area who have never found anything like this before. See the little red spots. Some sort of mineral right in the middle there, I'm not sure what it is. You can see it's didn't take a polish. That's the back end of it. Some nice fortified banding, bit of quartz. This is all from one little pond, tiny little patch that obviously just had never had a rockhound there. So there's tons of material just on the side of the highway. I actually stopped to photograph some frogs we saw there. All that we found there. It's also from there. This is really old. It's decomposing a bit. But most of it's still there. Rather plain, but still nice. This isn't, I wouldn't call this an agate, but it's some really cool colors there. Those, I don't even know what you'd call that, mammillary, botryoidal fingers. What else? A bit of agatized wood. Again, the same tiny little spot. That's all for that spot. Then we go to Lesotho, which is my very first video on this channel. There's a nice quartz crystal that I didn't show in that video that I got there. I'll add a link to that video in the top corner. This one is near the town of Clarence in South Africa, on the border of Lesotho. We were staying at a place called the Clarence Castle, which is like a Rapunzel themed little tower. And just in the hill behind the accommodation there were agates. So I was quite happy to find this. First one of the trip. And broken, but I just really like it just as it is. This one looks just like a Botswana agate, but it also comes from Lesotho. Straight out of the basalt Drakensberg Mountains. Also right next to the highway. Oh, this one is from the first spot where I got all of these ones. This one's also from there. Good focus, that'd be great. Back to Lesotho, little dolphin. And yeah, it would have been good finding that hole before it had broken. Oh well. This is now back into New Zealand. This is from the Conway River. It's just a bit of Conway Formation wood, which is Jurassic wood, I believe, or Cretaceous. Oh, I don't remember. But this is, I think, my first ever bit, and this has got some nice rings. Yep. Quite common on the Conway River in North Canterbury. Then this is from on a club trip. I found this bit of petrified wood. I love the texture on that. I think it's so cool. Same place. Took a really good polish. In the same spot. Real nice texture to that as well. So that was all those bits of wood were found in a mine. Hello, lickety split. A limestone mine, and then this is a chunk of calcite, which you may think is big. It came off a 6 foot tall chunk that probably weighed a couple tons. This was just one of the crumbs that fell off. And from the same place, some sulfur. Right, then further south there's a spot called High Peaks. I've got a video about that coming out. This is an agate I found. I don't know, I'll call it my dragon egg. It looks so cool. Unfortunately, it's pretty much hollow inside. There's no crystals or anything, so I'll just keep it intact as it is. I think it's quite a cool display piece. It's got kind of a Death Star crater in there. I like it. I don't think it's worth cutting or doing anything else with it. This is also from High Peaks. Nice agate. There's an andesite quarry there, and you can get agates straight out of the bedrock there, which is pretty cool. Also a little High Peaks one out of the quarry. There's the andesite that it grows in. Very dense, dark moss agate. These are probably my favorite agates ever. It's a pair of them from High Peaks. Just it's like an underwater scene in pink water and multicolored seaweed or moss. I think they're just awesome. How cool is that? Another High Peaks one. This one's also from High Peaks, dug out of the little stream there, and it's also got a pseudomorph of some sort of crystals. You can see the crystal points sticking out there right at the tip. Follow them down all the way. You can see where the spray comes out and the crystals extend all the way to the edge of the nodule. And some really dense moss there. Then closer to home, the Ashburton, and obviously this, can't forget about that. That's a big old High Peaks moss agate, multicolored moss. One of my favorites. I got this out of a tree stump there. It's a pine plantation, and there was a windstorm and it blew a bunch of trees over, and the roots grip the rocks, and some of them grip onto agates and petrified wood, and you dig in the root systems and you can find nice agates like this. One of my favorites for sure. This is my biggest piece of amethyst. It's pretty lame, it's very milky, but there's some definite purple in there. It's just a loose sort of crystal, I suppose you could call it, from the Ashburton River. One of my first ever agates. Not too stunning, but it's got some nice memories connected to it. It's out of the Ashburton. This is the only agate I've ever kept just for the skin. It's a terrible agate, but the skin is so cool. And then just a little example of a quartz nodule. So from the Ashburton River. Moving on to the Hines River. Got this nice little hole nodule. One day I gave it a cut and got a nice surprise. that black stuff in there isn't dirt, it's dendrites, I think. Mineral growths. This is a whole nodule of opalite that took a really nice polish. Commonly known as opalite in New Zealand, but it's internationally better known as just common opal. So the Hines River, this is quite a cool agate. Doesn't look like an agate, but technically is, because the other half has one tiny little banded area, so I suppose it is technically an agate. It was just kind of a swirling mess of stuff. On the same day that I found that, I found this real nice floater. The floater being agate floating in quartz crystals. This was just sitting right on the surface, proud as can be. I can't believe that it hadn't been found before. It's from the Hines area. Really nice agate, one of my best. Cut into 3 sections. Thought I'd do something different on that one. Yep, I'm sure you guys have seen this. My UFO space agate. Probably the best agate I've ever found. Definitely one of my favorites. Again, I'll add a link to this video in the top corner. You can go check it out if you want. Here's a slice from the biggest agate I found, and it's not the greatest, but it's a nice example of a Rangitata agate. This is the chunk it comes off of. This was 5 kilos, 10 pound, or a bit over 10 pounds. And I've yet to find another big one like this. This was early on in my career, so I think I've been a bit unlucky not finding another one. It's not the greatest, but it's alright. Nice little bat agate, little bat symbol. South branch of the Rangitata River. A rare sort of agate with pink little spheres in it, little mineral spheres. This is very cool. This is opalite that shattered and then was re-glued with chalcedony. I found this on the beach at Rangitata. Really like that, quite unique. It's a quartzy agate with a little smiley face, opalite base, red moss, little beach agate. Smallest agate, but one of my favorites. Also off the beach, bit of amethyst, nice banding. Smiling number 9. Multicolored moss from the Rangitata. Pretty standard Rangitata agate. Got this one right under the Arundel Bridge at the Rangitata River. Also one of my favorites. The light's terrible, but there's a really nice detail in there. And oh, this one's from Lesotho, just lying at the end there. So yeah, that's a quick overview of my agate collection. Got a bunch more in boxes, hidden in boxes, and tumbling, and I've got a bunch more fossils as well. And if we're ever in another lockdown, I'll show you those. Here's a nice bit of Jasper from the Rangitata River. this one was on my last video, so you should recognize it. The one that didn't have any green going through it, unfortunately. There's just a little bit of green on that left edge there. Let's have a look at that left edge over there. There it is. Yep. Sorry, I nearly forgot. Yep, there you go. So that's from the Rangitata, and the last one is that one at the back from the Rangitata River, also the last video. Those shattered chalcedony glued together by quartz. Oh, and that one's from the Ashburton River, a bit of calcite and some quartz nodules and little bits of agate. So thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll have some better content next week. We're coming out of lockdown soon. And that's what you do when you're bored at home with your agates. Alright, see you next time.